Hey guys, after here, welcome back. I'm here to explain Loren, the Amazon Princess, the indie RPG by Winterwolves, currently on Steam for $19.99. Let's check it out. It's a pretty interesting game. First thing I want to disclaim here is that the graphics of this game, or I should say the artwork, is pretty, let's say, a little bit over the top. Let's put it that way. That's putting it nicely, as we can see from the lovely intro menu here. Let's go ahead and take a look at the achievements, or the preferences, I should say. Pretty basic stuff. There really isn't a whole lot of anything, honestly, which is a little bit disappointing considering we are paying $20 for this game. But once we get in game, you'll see that it's probably alright. It's really not that big of a deal. Alright, so before we get started, I want to say a few things. This game is really a game that's really almost all about this story. And usually when I say that, I say it with a heavy heart, because I like gameplay, guys. However, this game does an amazing job at bringing you into the fold and really making you care about these characters, and really makes you invested in these characters as well. The gameplay, or the combat I should say, isn't the best, and we'll get into that in a little bit, but I want to start off with the new game and just kind of show you guys the first few minutes. Because the game is so story driven, I don't want to spoil a lot of it for you. Kind of want you to experience it on your own, but I still want to be able to give you a nice preview of what the game is, so you can make an educated decision on if you want to spend the $19.99. Because as far as indie games go, $19.99 is pretty hefty. But we'll talk a little bit more about that towards the end. So let's go ahead and start a new game. Gives you two options here: standard and tactics. I haven't done anything in the tactics yet, which lets you start with 5 known skills. Characters gain a new skill point every 3 levels, and they gain 20% less stamina and spell points each level up. And it's for players who want to start with many known skills to try combos and are willing to sacrifice level up rewards and customization. I don't really like this tactics. At least I don't like the way it looks. I like the nice standard. So you start with 1 skill, you get one every 2 levels, and you get stamina and spell points with each level up. Good stuff. We'll go ahead and start a standard one here as well. Inside the monastery. There's only one lit room at this late hour, just enough light to see the empty pages of a thick book. A hooded monk leans over the desk inside with a quill in hand. I am the monk. I'm here to write a tale so epic that I cannot sleep until it's told. So here I write the tales of the Amazon Princess Loren. Alright, so at this point, when I started playing this game, I'm like, okay. I start this tale from the very beginning, back in a time where the world was blissfully unaware of the turmoil to come. Interesting, yes. High in the mountains, deep in a mighty forest, yada yada yada. Alright, let's get to the... Alright, there she is, an Amazon Princess. So, we find out that she's very good with a sword. A few slides here talking about the servants and them having to reassemble the training equipment every day, because she just sliced the heads off of it over and over and over again. She considered a shield dead weight and an empty hand a death wish. Princess Loren would only fight with a sword in each hand. Where are the other dummies? Or should we say, where are the other dummies? There are none left, my grace. She was displeased to learn that her training would end so early today. She crossed her arms and stared down her attending servants. Then perhaps one of you should fetch a sword. The slaves gulped in unison after having witnessed what damage the princess could do. But before anyone could move, the piercing cry of a griffin fell from the skies. Just then a messenger ran into the training grounds, panting for breath. Princess Loren, the captain, she has returned alone, your majesty. Loren broke into a run. She ran as fast as she could to the main square inside the citadel. The Amazon scouts had landed with their griffins just as she arrived. Oh my, yes. Again, the artwork's pretty eccentric here. The captain of the guard's Brez looked extremely grave as she approached her. Loren knew instantly that the news the scouts carried would not be a routine report. Your Majesty, tell me. I don't know why I keep going back to guy voices. A scout stepped forward and placed a hand over her out and salute. Queen Karen has been lost. Loren's face paled. She disappeared into the night. As of now, we do not know what happened to her.
There's not a trace? We searched high and low, Your Majesty. She is not in Amazon territory.
And we have no choice in this matter. But the queen lost. Princess Loren must become our new queen.
No.
My mother is still alive and still the queen. She is not dead. You did not find her body. Searching for her must be our top priority.
Your Highness,
you know that it is against the law to leave the citadel. Your mother's fate is too uncertain. That is precisely why we must try and find her. I will search for her myself if I have to. This is why I don't do Let's Plays. Oh. Her hard glare challenge anyone to say otherwise. Ah, so we got a new quest. Yay. You discovered your first quest. Okay, so we can press Q to get the quest. Good. Okay. Okay. Your mother appointed me has been forced to the Amazon. Must agree. If you leave, you will forfeit all support of the Amazons. Alright, so again, we're going to skip some of this story here. You're going to end up leaving to look for your mother, but you end up forfeiting the title, yada yada yada. Okay. So here's the interesting part. So they don't want her to go alone, so they're going to introduce you. So this is going to be your character. You can choose either a thief or a warrior. A human or an elf. So just for the sake of this video, we will choose the human, and we will say warrior. They can do lots. They can absorb lots of damage. Position the front row. Being a warrior is easier in early stages of the game. Yada yada yada. Okay, fine. She gets all offended. Yes, these Amazons seem to be very well. They're lesbians, except they use the men to procreate. So, as you can see right there, this game kind of came out of left field for me. I mean, maybe I should do more research before I started playing it, but it's pretty weird to see all these like random things going on. Okay. So after you get two introduced, what you do here is you do a pretty sweet like character creation. So you start to decide on how you want your warrior to unfold. Now, we could have hypothetically been a thief. Now, depending on what we choose here, we will start with certain skills. So, as you can see, strength is the warrior's main attribute. Every point of strength you get is attack power, and then every 2 points of skill is an attack power. And then each thing also offers one generic thing. So, will is how many stamina and spell points characters get each level. Magic value and defense value. Skill is character speed and defense values, and slightly the magic value. And strength is hit points and stagger threshold. So it's pretty interesting. So let's say if we say healer's quarters, let's see what happens. Probably, I'm guessing skill is going to go up. They give some roleplay in the back of it. Oh, will actually went up. Okay, cool. So right away, and again, I don't want to spoil too much of this for you guys. So as you can see, even the first few minutes of this game is all about the story and creating your story. And at first, honestly, I was like, this is fucking slow. This is boring. You're going to spend 20 minutes going through these skills and like depending what you want. And at the end of it, it will give you the opportunity to stop and redo it if you'd like. But it's cool how everything you pick has actual few legitimate slides, which is pretty sweet. But enough of that RP. Let's go ahead and jump ahead here. I'm not going to jump too far ahead. Let's go to these orcs. Yes. Let's see if I can start. Alright. So we got some cool battle music in the background, perfect for me explaining. So we have a party of 6 people here, okay? You have a bunch of people in your party, but you can only have 6 active in a battle at any given time. First thing I want to explain is a little bit about these classes. So we have Loren here, who's the Amazon princess. She's a warrior. Each class, or I should say each character ends up having a primary class. So we have a warrior, mage, thief, mage, warrior. But they have like second classes. So she is a warrior, but also a Blade Master. Then we have Saren, which is our main character. We have a hero ability, which means got all these like buffs and heals. They have a mage who's an elementalist. Then we have a thief who is a hunter. Then we have another mage who is a druid. Then we also have a dwarf warrior who's a berserker. So they have all these different abilities that you can kind of level up as you go. And again, you get 1 skill point for every 2 levels you get. And beyond that, every level you get 3 points to invest in skill, will, or strength as you learn. Okay, pretty sweet stuff. All of the armor and the weapons is pretty straightforward, as you can imagine. You have values, so if, let's say, I want to equip this guy with something, let's say I want to have a better weapon. So I click on his weapon, it shows me, this is what I have. Then obviously if you highlight these, it'll show us. So that's less damage. The standard sword's less damage. Chance sword's less damage. So I have the best equipped weapon right now for him. Pretty straightforward stuff. Now, let's look at the combat. It's pretty... I don't want to say boring, but well, let's just show for yourself. So before you start, you can have your party, and you can always want to fight with 6. So the front row is obviously going to want to be your tank, so they can't get to the back row unless they're ranged. So you want to make sure you have the, so I have a thief and 2 of my mages in the back row. Then I have all my warriors in front. Only one of my warriors, our main guy, is set up as a tank. He has a shield and he has a lot of HP. He has a taunt ability. He has a heal ability. Whereas these guys are kind of fit out for damage. So let's go ahead and do a fight here. So the movement order is determined by speed, obviously. So our quickest person is our hunter. So we're gonna, if we want to attack, we'll click. Now we can do one of 2 shots that she has. She has an aim shot and a range attack. Now the aim shot will do more damage, but it basically slows her down. So we just want to do the range attack. Now we have Loren. So we actually want to buff her first. So we're gonna do a power attack, which slows her down but increases her damage. Now we have an elementalist. So what we can do with him is we can go ahead and we can attack, a melee attack, which doesn't do a lot of damage. We could use his magic bolt, which does a significant amount of damage, or we can fireball, and that's the abilities I've chosen for him that do a wide range of AoE. So we'll go ahead and just do fireball too. Now there's effects that each different element can kind of invoke. There's like fire, frost, fire, frost. There's, I should say, burnt. You can get frozen. You can get stumble. All right, so now we're the druid. So we could hypothetically heal any one of these with her nature's touch, which also heals adjacent. You could end up giving a potion to someone or switching their position. Or in her case, I can go ahead and magic ball someone, which I'll do that. And we have our warrior. So again, you can just potions everybody, and everyone also has the ability to defend. So if hypothetically I was frozen or terrified and I couldn't attack, I could always defend, at least to kind of armor up for the turn is. But in this case, I'll just attack. And I'll attack with him as well. Now it's her turn. And we already buffed her, as you can see she's pretty strong. There's a bunch of damage. Okay. Now, once you already do a command, like once you already attack or something, you can actually, and once that character comes back around, you can just double click him to automatically do your last action. So she already shot, so we'll shoot again. Dead. Okay. We bolted last time, so we'll start bolting again. Now you notice a lot of people go a lot quicker than others, so it's important that when you're leveling everybody up, that you want to give them at least a little bit of skill, a little bit of willpower, a little bit of strength, even if it's not their main stat, just to increase that. Or you'll have mages who are extremely slow and extremely defensively weak, or you'll have tanks who are also slow and have no magic power or special power to do any of their abilities. So yeah, there's a fight. Pretty cool, pretty easy. We can see a level up here now, so we see that our dwarf, I think her name's like Nora, or Nora, yeah, is leveled up. So what I usually do is their main is skill, so I'll give them 2 skill. I'll probably put one in will here, just to start getting some more mana points as we level up. Didn't get any skills yet, but my next skill I'll probably use snipe. So we'll be done there. They were no match for him. Watch out, my Grace, there are more coming up that hill. So now we have another battle, and this is kind of one of the things that I like how the game implements is that you have to make sure you have to race for the marathon, you can't race for the sprint. So you can't just try to go all in and throw everybody to the fire and just see what happens. You kind of have to take a nice laid back approach and make sure everyone kind of stays up in HP and everything. It's a pretty interesting game. Let me see if I can do a different chapter here. Most of these are right in front of battles. Let me kind of want to give you a little bit of variety there. Do not want to save, I want to load. Let us load this game. Oops, wrong one. So we're coming right out of a little bit of a quest here. So we're in a town right now. As you can see, there's a lot of, again, more RP here. They're anxious to find the mother, but the elves warned her not to disrupt the elder druid mirth divination ceremony or it would be ruined. So this is our druid that we picked up. Very interesting. I have seen her. She is in a swamp, the swamp north of Grimoire. She is with a man. A man! My mother treads no men. That is what I saw. So sad. But so these little things that I don't want to get too into again because I don't want to spoil it for anybody is just what honestly makes this game as good as it is. The combat you just saw, you know, that's full on 6-on-6 combat. It's not going to get that much more epic than that. But this storyline is literally what's going to drive it forward. And this storyline is also what is going to make you want to keep playing the game. You're not going to be like, I want to play Loren so bad because I can't wait to do some more left clicks because those are so awesome. No, you're going to want to see what happens, and you're going to want to see what happens between these characters and to find her mother. What's also interesting is that there's a lot of choices, a lot of decisions that you can make that may or may not end up, you know, actually having a impact in the end of the game. Probably about an hour or two into the game, right off the rip, you find out something like you have a choice, and the choice is, do you fade with this person or do you fade with that person? I should say side with this person, side with that person. And what happens is you don't know. It just gives you the choice, and you say, well, if you choose this might come back to haunt you, or this might come back to haunt you. You never really know. So it's interesting to give you those choices, and it gives the game that replayability. Looks like we found a new elf here. I bet you any money he is going to join our party. There's a lot of romance in this game. A lot of courting, I will say. It's a very adult themed game, but it's surprisingly fresh, and it's surprisingly kind of a relief to play, honestly, that where I'm not always worrying about battles, I'm not always worried about gear and things like that. I mean, obviously the game's gonna get harder as you go, and you do have to start worrying about those things, but it's cool to have to really just kind of get lost in the story, even though the story's a little bit weird because of the random art styles and as sexual as everyone may be. Maybe this is not a vacation. We're headed straight for them friggin' swamps. So you can see there's a lot of context, a lot of text here. You're basically reading a novel, honestly. New party member, Thief Assassin. Awesome. Let's look at his stuff real quick. Oh, well, they just gave him level 4 out of the bat. So we got Bleeding Strike. Wow. Cold Blood. So yeah, you see there's a lot of conditions. Confused condition. We'll want to give him probably one of those. There we go. Points. I don't like any of these generic stuff. I mean, they're very generic. They seem like they could be good, but I kind of like always their special skills. You can see there for Bleeding Strike, target needs to be, I believe that's shocked or whatever. Like, they have another word for it. I think it's like tumbled or something like that. Let's see here. Let's go with this. And then we'll go with Deadly Strike. Hits single burn, frozen, or tired target, causing 40% of target's actual HP, if not a boss. It sounds pretty strong, so we'll go ahead and do that. All she cares about is men, and hates them so much. Again, a lot of good stuff there for you. So here's the main world map here. As you can see, there's a lot of stuff going on. You can backtrack to a town and you can kind of, do some shopping there and sell the loot that you get from any of the good old, battles you go. And you can do those quests. Q will pull up your quest log so we can see find Queen Karen's our main quest. We also have to travel with Grimor, stop Mespit, and defeat York, all that good stuff. Which again, story stuff I'm not gonna spoil. Last thing I want to show you though is this camp feature. So here's the camp feature. Here's everyone in our party, and so we can pick and choose anyone when you want to talk. If you don't get enough role play as it is, you can do even more here. So Loren, oops. Here is the romance thing. You can pretty much have a romance with Loren, Mirth, and then some other undisclosed people. And the more you talk to them, the more opportunity you get to court them. So if we talk to Loren, we'll see she'll talk. And, they'll talk about whatever. This blade is dull. I need to sharpen it. So held out the hawk blade and his jaw dropped. It's too distracting for me to do myself. And there's a lot of sexual innuendos in here, and it's kind of funny. It's enjoyable. It really is. So then we could have a choice of here, and these kind of set your tone, your character's tone throughout the game, depending how jokingly, friendly, or forceful you are. Usually the more you talk to them, the more you're able to get a romantic or other option. Now, what's cool is that I could probably talk to Loren for like 20 times, and they're going to keep coming up with different things to talk about. Some of the other characters might go a little bit less, but they're more than just, one click. So if I come back to her, well, I just proved wrong. This time she doesn't want to talk about more. But like, for instance, the last time I made camp, we talked, like, I probably pressed her like 7 times before I just didn't want to read it anymore. And the same for these other guys too. They really just start talking about random stuff. Does your hacks have a name? So, I mean, it doesn't really do anything specific, but it's kind of cool. Just if you really, really want more of that kind of role-playing this, you can kind of get it a little bit more of that story. You can keep going back to these characters and talking to them. Let's see if she will let us romance her. Nope, still no romancing to be done. Oh well, that's alright. It's always an option though. I've already gotten 2 and 1 stars with both these gals, respectively. But yeah, I mean, it's a pretty sweet game. So the real question at the end of the day, I have no qualms about this game. I like the story. The story's there. It's enjoyable. As long as you're not off-put by the art style and the sexual innuendos and the heavy lesbianness of it. As long as you're not put off by that, I think you'll find the game enjoyable. The real question is it worth the $19.99 price? You know what? I think it's a close call, but I think it is. I honestly do. I think if you find story games like this enjoyable, if you find RPG games like this enjoyable, it's really polished. It's really well put together. The background music is really nice. There's a lot of fleshed out story here. There is replayable value here. You can do this game a couple different ways. throughout it and have that replay value. You're going to need that replay value if you're looking to try to, you know, say that 1999 is worth it. And this is a one playthrough game, I'd probably say no, but it's not. You got a few playthroughs here, which is very interesting. And if you're the combat kind of person, you do have even more replayability with being able to bring multiple characters into the fold, because you only take 6 in there, and obviously right now I have 7. So it's definitely a cool game. You guys should definitely check it out. And like always, thanks for watching.